Hey everyone, this is Rob from Revelation Rain, coming at you with yet another video where we go through all the tracks of our debut album, which was titled Vengeance is Mine. And we talk about each of those tracks, the history, the way the song was written, any backstories, recording process, etc. And today we're up to track number 5, which would be side 1, track 5, the last song on side 1. Again, we always think in terms of albums. And in fact, Vengeance is Mine was released through CD Baby digitally to close to 200 different digital platforms. And then also we had actual CDs printed up. But later on, we also went through a company called Digger's Factory, and we had Vengeance is Mine pressed to vinyl. And that's been very popular. A lot of people like vinyl, and so we were catering to that market. So anyway, this is track number 5 on the CD, and this is a song called Night Falls Fast. And this song has an interesting backstory. This was a song that Marty had brought to the band. When we decided we were going to record, we had our studio picked out, which was Soundfield Studio in Wyoming, just outside of Grand Rapids. And we knew we were going to work with Pete Bass, and that was actually Marty's idea to work with Pete Bass. Initially, Grant and I felt that we should just record it ourselves and save ourselves some money, that we could, use computer software and just record in his basement, which is where we do our rehearsals. And Marty very wisely set us straight, and very, very glad that we followed Marty's advice and recorded with Pete Bass. But anyway, when we knew we were going to go in to record, and I've said this before, initially it was going to be 10 of my songs that I'd written over the years. But once JT and Marty had joined the band and we realized what great songwriters they are, we knew we needed to include at least one track from each of them, just to round out the album a little bit more. So we dropped 2 of my tracks and brought 2 of theirs in, one from each of them. And the one that Marty brought in actually had different lyrics and a different song title. It was a song that he had recorded with a band long before Revelation Rain. But the music was kind of the same. They had more of a progressive feel to them. And I don't remember the name of the band. Marty, forgive me if I get it wrong. I think it's Hatch was the band, something like that he was in. And this was a song that they had done. And Marty played it for us, and even though it was a completely different style than what we were playing, we heard the potential in the song. I mean, it just sounded really good, musically speaking. And we couldn't keep the title of the song, and we couldn't keep the lyrics that were the original basis for the song. But we knew that we could use the music. I think Marty had written the music, so he could bring that part to the band. But the lyrics and the title of the song belonged to someone else. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. I don't know what happened here on the computer screen. Okay, I think we're good. Anyway, so Marty said, well, I can bring the music. So I think it was JT who actually found a way to make the music sound less progressive, less outside of our wheelhouse, and made it have a heavier sound and more of that Revelation Rain sound. And I think JT and Marty kind of worked those parts out. Grant brought his parts to it, and I was actually the last one to come in because when they initially started rehearsing this song, one of the very few, in fact the only rehearsal I ever had to miss, ever, and it's because I had a wedding that day. And so they had worked out all the parts, and when I came to the rehearsal the following week, they played it for me, and I was like, that's it. That's perfect. It's heavy, it's got our sound, and yet it still retains Marty's imprint, very much so. I mean, if you listen to the bass line, you hear Marty all over this song. Absolutely. So anyway, like I said, all he could bring was the music, because he wrote that. So he asked me to write lyrics for it. And I had this title laying around, and I'd always wanted to do something with it, but never really had. And that was Night Falls Fast. And with us shifting, or with Revelation Rain being a Christian band, and most of our songs having a Christian theme to them, I took that title and applied it to the book of Revelation, or Revelation, or even 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, talking about the tribulation period. What happens there? You know, how you missed your opportunity to get saved during this dispensation of grace that we're in right now. It's not too late. You can still get saved during the tribulation, but it's going to be a whole different deal. Okay? So that's what the song is about. And the title fit perfectly. The lyrics came together rather quickly. And if you notice, it's a very short song. It's longer than New Kind of Man. That one's still the shortest song on that record. But I think this one comes in second. And the reason it's so short is because before we even went in to do recording, we had a show coming up. I've said this before. JT and Marty joined the band. It's kind of like, hey, congratulations, now learn 20 songs because we have a show in 2 weeks. So it was moving that fast, that quickly. So when I was putting this song together lyrically, I was thinking in my head, I have to memorize these lyrics within the next few days because we have a show coming up. So with that in mind, there's only really one verse to the song. It just repeats it twice. And that's why the song is so short, is because this was before I had thought to use my tablet to use that as kind of a cheat sheet for the lyrics. At that time, I was still trying to memorize all the lyrics. And because I couldn't get all the lyrics memorized, I intentionally made this song rather short and basically just repeat that one verse 2 times. It was just a way to make it easier for me to memorize the lyrics. So there you are. So now we're stuck with that. But it fit perfectly anyway. It still sounds great. I don't think it compromises the song in any way. As far as the order of the song, when you end side 1 of your album, you want a strong finisher. Okay, it's kind of like running a marathon. You start off strong, then you kind of cruise along. You're going for distance, in that middle part, and then toward the end you see the finish line, so you kind of pick up the speed. And plus, coming out of the ballad Alone, which was the track before this, you don't want to end on a song like Alone. You want a strong finisher, and Night Falls Fast fits that criteria. It locks you back in to the first and second track on the album, and it's setting the pace for side 2. So this is a pivotal song, pivotal placement. So anyway, when we decided we were going to record music videos for at least 3 of the tracks, we decided on Taste of Tomorrow, Night Falls Fast, and Vengeance Is Mine. And unfortunately, we never made a video to Vengeance Is Mine. We never got around to that, but we shot, I say live footage, it was us lip-syncing to our CD on a stage. We shot footage for 3 songs. So we had this footage for Night Falls Fast, this performance footage. And so I thought, we've got to do something with this. So I went home and I found some stock footage that I thought fit in with the theme of the song, interspersed it with the live footage that we had shot, put together a video, and before I put it up on YouTube, I sent it to the guys, had them take a look at it. They said they liked it, and so we moved forward. And I was glad that they liked it. Everybody enjoyed the video, and so once I had the okay from everyone, then I put it up on YouTube. All right. So we had a video in place. We put it up on YouTube, and it's done very well for us. Like I said, a lot of times the songs we put up are just like studio versions, and it might have some pictures that it flips through or whatever. I've noticed that anytime we put up live footage, like concert footage, or any song that has music videos, they get a lot more hits. So that also was the provocation for making a video for this. So here we go. We're going to watch this video together. I'll stop it every so often to just kind of relay some details. But here we go. This is the music video for Night Falls Fast. first found this piece of footage, I thought this is perfect. Now, some people will look at this from a wrong perspective and see it as something like seducing or sexually charged or whatever else because of what she's doing. But you have to remember that this is during the tribulation period, and all bets are off during the tribulation. Morality, as far as morals, are going to be at an all-time low, even lower than what they are right now, if you can believe that. And it's not so much what she's doing physically; it's what's going on inside of her that we're trying to convey. And so, if she's being seductive, it's because of those seducing spirits that Jesus talked about, more so than the physical attributes. Okay, so that's why the footage is there. Plus, it's just visually, it grabs you right away. You're like, "What is this?" And yeah, that's what you want. So here we are doing the live footage. We changed up our clothing slightly just so that it looked like, it wasn't all just one giant recording session, even though it really was. And we changed out guitars. I think JT might be playing a different guitar here than in Taste of Tomorrow, and I definitely am playing a different guitar. In Taste of Tomorrow, I'm playing an Ibanez Iceman, and in this video, I'm using my Silvertone Apocalypse, which was a Paul Stanley model guitar, and it's got a killer body shape. I really like it. I don't use it live a whole lot, one, because they don't make them anymore, so I try to preserve what I have, and secondly, as much as I love the guitar, it had a great sound, it had a thicker neck, which I don't really care for. I prefer the D neck over the C neck, and also it was just top heavy. Like if you let go of the neck heavy, if you let go of the neck, it drops to the floor almost immediately. So, but it's nice for shooting a music video. So all throughout this video, you're going to see imagery that kind of ties in, like I say, with the tribulation period. Again, just more imagery. During the tribulation period, if you read through Revelation, you're going to see that there's a lot of destruction, not only because of the Antichrist, not only because of the low moral values that most of the people there will have, but also, you have to remember, this is God's time of judgment. He's executing judgment on those who did not accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. And yes, people can still get saved during the tribulation, but it's a whole different dispensation, okay? Salvation is going to come differently, and that's what the song is talking about. But because of all these catastrophes that are happening, nuclear war and bombs and this and that, masks are going to definitely be necessary. And I think that people need to realize that now. I don't think people understand just how bad things are going to get during that 7 years. As bad as they may be right now, this is nothing compared to what's to come. Alright, so this footage right here, I intentionally did kind of a split screen so you can still see what's going on in the background, but then this imagery here is taking place. What does this mean? I have no idea. It just looked cool. And a lot of times, that's all it needs to be for a music video. I've said it before, I could be singing about the moon and they could show me driving a race car. It just doesn't matter. Sometimes it's more about the imagery. This looked weird. It looked creepy. in a way, but yet subtle. So it just kind of ties in, because there will be a lot of subtlety during the tribulation period. Okay, the Antichrist doesn't come off making huge demands right away. At first, he establishes world peace, and people look at him as the Messiah, and that's why he's able to trick people. The same thing here. This looks peaceful, just a few girls walking around in a circle. What's the big deal? But then you watch it closer, and it's kind of like, man, it's kind of creepy. What is this? Same thing. Again, just another visual representation of, not necessarily that people will look like that, although maybe, but it's the imagery. It's kind of taking something and then amplifying it. It's going to be different during that period of time. People are going to be, unless they're the ones that are turning to Christ and getting saved, the rest of them are going to be worse. Like I said, worse than what we have even right now. Those who are unsaved and remain unsaved are going to be under the influence of the Antichrist, and a lot of them will be demon possessed. That's why they do what they do. So again, that's what the song is talking about. But if you notice, lyrically it says, the sun is rising, the lion, not the lamb. See, when Jesus came the first time, he came as the suffering lamb, the suffering Messiah. When he comes back at the end of the tribulation period, he's coming back as the lion, and he's going to kick some tail, okay? So that's what the song is also doing. It's encapsulating everything that takes place during the tribulation period right up until the time when Christ comes back for the battle of Armageddon. So here we go. Okay, a couple of things. You saw the lady kind of shaking her head, and the lights are kind of flashing. I think it's the same gal that's at the very beginning of the video. Again, I just wanted to put her in there again, mostly just because visually it was appealing. It grabs you. You immediately focus your attention on what she's doing, and she's really not doing much. She's shaking her head. But it's the way she's doing it, and then the lights flashing the way they are, it grabs you. And then here, this live stuff, if you notice, once the lyric is done, I kind of back up and move to the side of the stage where Marty was at. Marty and JT meet in the middle. In live, they would do this, where at the end of it, they're playing that same riff together, and it just looks cool. It's a choreographed part, sure, but it looks awesome. It looks great. Live, they would do that, and it's one of those things. It's kind of like Kiss at the end of Deuce, when they all line up and they kind of do the rocking back and forth to the end of the song. It's one of those things. So we had a couple of spots in different songs where we would do something like that, and we wanted to include it in the music video as well. Alright, and you end the video with a big ball of fire because, like I said, it encapsulates mostly what's going to happen at the end of the tribulation into Armageddon, where, Jesus and those of us that are saved come down and we kick some tail. But you have to remember, too, that at the end of the millennial kingdom, God will throw, he wipes away the old heaven and the old earth and creates the new heaven and new earth, and the earth will be consumed by fire. So there you are. But it just looks cool. I mean, who doesn't like to see a big ball of fire? So that was the music video for Night Falls Fast. Like I said, there's a lot that's going on with the song lyrically, a lot going on visually with this music video, and then musically it definitely has a lot going on. Now the guitars are pretty much playing some straightforward chords, but Marty's bass. Just when you listen to the song, listen back to the bass, just how good he is, and then also focus on the drums, because like I've said before, in order for a drummer to play with a bass player of Marty's caliber, you cannot be a slacker. You can't be mediocre. You have to be a drummer on top of your game, and Grant is just that. So kudos to Grant and Marty and to JT, who helped to kind of rearrange the song to make it a little bit heavier. I don't think there's any guitar solos really in this song, but again, leave your ego at the door. JT didn't care. He still plays some killer riffs. Sounds great. So that's the song or the video for Night Falls Fast. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care and God bless.